Hi everyone. So it's actually been great here so far, and it's about to get even more interesting. When it comes to the job market, change has always been part of work. Now, while AI isn't new, the peak of generative AI in the late 2022, where you prompt AI to get a response and have it do your task in natural language, it has actually created a fear that our skill or our role is about to become obsolete. So it has done this AI versus work thing. And that's what this panel section is about today, for us to answer all the questions you have around AI versus work, and more importantly, give you solutions to these challenges. So we'll be kicking off the conversation with Raphael. Raphael, when you talk about the future of work in the age of AI, do you think that the future is already here with us or is still unfolding?
Hi, everyone. So when you talk about the future of work, I think it's procedural. As much as possible, we can see the palpable difference. We can see the progress that's been happening. I would say around 2021, I believe that was like the nascent phase of AI. There was a lot of, I think everyone tended to the entire idea with some sort of caprice. We are not sure what we're going to expect. For most developers, I think there were a lot of banter around it. Is AI actually going to replace our job? Is it just something that would phase, like NFT, the Web3, and all of this other stuff, right? But I would say right now it's procedural. We can see the changes. We can see what, especially when it comes to programming, the tech, and all of this stuff. We can see what stuff like Claude, Cursor, Copilot is able to do. So as much as possible, if you're being in tune with what's happening, I would say it's procedural and it gets better. And as much as possible, you want to get yourself prepared for that final phase whensoever it is that gets here. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, because during my undergraduate days, like, we didn't do our project using ChatGPT. It was just as we left school, the whole ChatGPT thing came, and somewhere like deep down, I was like, oh my God, why didn't this thing meet us while we were still in school? It would have just been a lot more easier. And just like it said, it's unfolding. It gets better by the day. So I also want to ask Ifunanya. Okay, so a big fear people have is that AI will take our jobs. From your profile and everything you do, you work closely with job seekers and hiring teams. So in your experience, is this fear justified? That is AI equal to job loss?
Okay, hello everyone. For the question, I personally don't think AI can take our jobs because, as a matter of fact, companies, some of the people I've applied for, being in the field, companies usually ask that, like in their job description, they want you to know how to use AI. I feel like the people that are making a big mistake are those that are not using AI, because AI, I would say, they are enhancers. So whatever you're doing with your work, it makes your work maybe faster, it makes it more refined and all of that. So I believe that it's not there to take your jobs, but to make your jobs easier. You reduce grunt work and all of that. So you should definitely use AI. You should know AI. You should use it better. You know, it's just there to enhance your work and not take it. That's what I think.
Okay, that's fine. But just a little follow up there. Like, let's do a reality check. Are there people, or has anyone at all complained that they were laid off because of AI? Like, their company introduced AI and they were laid off?
I haven't seen that. I've not, particularly seen such, but I believe that there's been like a buzz online that like people are complaining that, AI is taking over their jobs. Maybe people like all these graphic designers and all of that because of most of these AI tools like maybe Mid-Journey, I think, and all of that. I believe people have been complaining that some companies use those tools and then there is no need for them to work and all of that. But I think as a company, if you're just making use of AI without the human, or human beings doing the actual work, you're doing yourself a disservice here because AI, if you can notice when you give AI a prompt, when you tell AI to, do something for you, sometimes it's like they go like bizarre, like it's like, what is this? What did this thing just write? Sometimes I actually shout at AI, I'm like, what are you doing? I literally have to shout at this and text, what are you doing? So I believe that you need the human part. You need someone to give a proper prompt. You need someone to tell it what to do properly. You need someone to, kind of like make sure that the output is good and all of that. You can't just completely replace the human part of work with AI totally. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think.
All right, that's fine. And let me just take that a bit further with Michael. So Michael, are there roles you think are more at risk in the AI age? And should people be thinking about switching roles?
With regards to that, I do not believe people need to switch from their current roles. However, there are fields that we can say are more susceptible to the effect of AI. Take, for instance, content writers, technical writers. If, as a technical writer, you do not learn how to use these AI tools to make your work faster, someone who does will definitely replace you. It is not the AI that is replacing you. It is the person who uses AI better than you do, or who in fact uses it when you don't use it, that will eventually replace you in that field. So yeah, there are fields that are more susceptible to that effect than others, but in all, I do not advise anyone to switch. Just apply AI in that your field and be good at it, and you will not have any challenge.
Okay, that was a valid point there, because myself, as a writer, sometimes I'll be wondering okay, we are three doing the same thing, and they are faster, their output is actually way ahead of mine. What are they doing differently? What's going on? And when I asked my colleagues, they were like, okay, they had to show me how they're doing it. Okay, you use this, you do this. That's how you're faster. That's how you do it better. So that's actually a valid point he gave there. And next, I would like to ask Chidinma something. Yesterday at the breakout, at the day one session of this event, so one of the speakers said something and it really hit me. She said that when you get in contact with clients, they normally say things like, is it not AI that you're going to use this thing? So that you're going to use and do this thing. So it just gives them this feeling that the mindset that since you use AI, maybe you shouldn't charge as much. So my question is, do you think the AI age will change how tech talents are compensated and recognized, and how will talents charge their worth despite this shift?
So speaking from experience, right? I've had that experience. So what I would say is, when clients come to me and say, oh, isn't it AI you're going to use to do this? What I tell them is that AI don't have the skills that I have, especially when it comes to creativity. I have to tell the AI what I want it to do for me, right? So when it comes to creativity, user strategy, aligning design with business goal, AI won't do that for me. What AI does is to make my thought process seamless and faster, just make my delivery process very fast. So when I'm speaking to designers in the house, so when you are faced with something like that, right, I know sometimes it can be very discouraging, right? tell the client that AI is just a tool, a collaborator tool that you work with to just make the work faster. But then again, the brain work, everything is coming from you. If it was that easy, why didn't you use AI? Why did it come for you?
Okay, that was nice and actually a pro tip there. And if you walked in while we were having this conversation and wondering what we are talking about, the talk today is about the future of work, the 9-to-5, and the gig economy in the age of AI. So moving forward with the conversation, I will ask, so Michael, let's take this practically. How can tech talents actually use AI to their advantage in real life, in their roles? How can they use AI to their advantage?
When I answered the previous question, I pointed speed of delivery. A developer who uses AI to augment his work tends to deliver faster than a developer who does not. And this is real life application. When I was working with the cloud hosting company, Fast Comet, one of my colleagues was laid off simply because he was not able to incorporate Copilot into his CI/CD operation. And because of that, when we run migrations, his actually takes longer. And because of that, he was actually taking more time to deliver on projects. And because they had to lay him off. That was a contractor, because then we were both contracting for Fast Comet. So a developer or anyone, in fact, who uses AI tend to deliver faster. That's if they know what they are doing, actually, because most times, if you don't prompt these AI tools well, you end up taking more time to refine the results they give to you. So the first thing you notice when you begin to use them is the speed. And then also the scope. For instance, a front-end developer who has not in fact, let me not use front-end developer, back-end engineer who is still learning or working with basic tools, basic APIs on the back end. Now, AI tools tend to take you deeper into certain aspects which you may not have heard of. For instance, as a PHP developer, I never used Fiber in PHP. But one of the projects I was working on, ZooFashion, when I needed help with concurrency, it was the AI tool I used that introduced me to Fiber. I had to understand Fiber better using it. So because of that, I was now able to dive into an aspect which, although I've heard of Fiber before, I never used it. I did not know how it worked, but because I needed something related to that, it introduced me into it and made me understand it better. And so it made my work even a lot easier than I would have taken the time to go through the whole Fiber documentation and everything to learn how to implement it.
Okay, that's very fine, but there is one other thing that I believe that everybody who uses AI in what they do, a concern they normally have, and that is the ethical and regulatory considerations when you are using AI tools. For example, a designer who uses ChatGPT to generate an image, how do they make sure that they are not going against ethics while using AI tools in their work?
For instance, if you are using ChatGPT, there are certain prompts you can key in. And when it gives you your first result, based on that result, you can tell it aspects that you should touch on that particular image that it generated, and it will actually do that. So now, if you are using it and you are worried about the ethical aspect, and you are concerned that, what if someone else had this image and you could be fined or sued for that, then that image you've gotten, do a Google reverse search and know if you can find such image online. And if you find anything similar to it online, then based on the results you've gotten from ChatGPT, reprompt it on those aspects or those parts of those image that you want it to change, and to actually deliver on that.
Okay, that's actually very okay, and I will come back to Chidinma. Your last response, you actually boosted our confidence, and I'm going to be asking another question in regards to that or in that direction. Oh, there is this perception that using AI means you are not competent. I've actually experienced that first time where somebody was like, use AI to write this thing, and it just feels like, no, you don't know what you're doing. So in this case, does using AI make someone less skilled, or is it simply working smart?
So what I would say is there are two sides to this, right? So if you rely on AI, what do I mean? Garbage in, garbage out, right? I won't call that working smart. I will call that being lazy. That's my own perspective. Because in as much as the whole AI madness is everywhere now, right? Everybody seems to have a bias on it. Some companies tell you, oh, please use AI. Some tell you don't, right? So I work in the health tech field. My boss always tells us to use AI. But then again, there's a restriction to that because we are dealing with data, people's health data. And it's not something that you want to give AI because these are what, even if you put it, these are what those engineers are using to train their models to give good results to you, right? So what I would say is collaborate with AI, work smart with AI, don't be lazy. What do I mean? Once, I'll bring it down to design, right? Because that's my field. So once I have, let's say I'm asked to build a marketplace for insurance, right? I don't have experience with that. What do? AI won't do my research for me. What I would tell AI to do is, please, in Nigeria, list out the health insurance companies that are available and what site can I go to do more like a comparison between this insurance company. Once I do my research and I get what I'm finding, I come to AI and say, okay, I've gotten this result. How best do you think I'm going to approach this? They give me their own feedback. AI can be wrong. I get it that AI, everybody's saying use AI, but vet what you're getting from AI because not everything you get from AI is 100%. So in as much as you're going to be using AI, also have your skill. Also upskill as AI is evolving, also evolve with it. Because in order for you to vet what is true and what is not. Yeah.
Okay, that's just to tell you that you should have a good balance of AI productivity with your human creativity. And for Ifunanya, I'll be asking you two questions, one that caters to newbies and one that caters to people who are already techies. So, what should a newbie do to catch up in the AI age? And what should someone already in tech do to remain relevant?
Okay, as a newbie, firstly, you need to pick a field. Yes, that's the first thing you should do. You need to pick a field. Let's say you're going into product design. Now, you need to know what product design is all about. Make sure you gather information like research. And secondly, you need to reach out to the people that are already in the field. Find them anywhere, like on LinkedIn. I don't mean you should disturb them and bombard them with questions, but at least you know now. You can just text them, send them cold mails, and reach out to them, know what exactly they are doing, know how, like, what's their, progress has been like, how they started, how they moved up to where they are now. So you can find people that you look up to that are in that field and ask questions, gather information, know how you're going to, prioritize what you're going to do. And then you have to learn the tools, obviously. Know Figma in and out, learning, try to ask questions, ask the people that are already designing, how do you use this thing? If there's anywhere you have like bottlenecks, go to people, have a mentor, find someone that you believe is already doing well in the field, in the design field, ask the person, okay, I'm finding it difficult here. How do I do this better? Tell the person to give you maybe a design task so you can complete within a period of time. Try and do it. You can be posting online about it. Not you can, you should be posting online about it. So I used to do design before, and there was a time I had someone that was in the field also. I asked him, oh, what should I be doing? And he's like, okay, do this challenge, 30 days challenge, just be putting out designs. So I did just small designs. So today I just did like a checkout page. The next day I did a landing page, and I kept on putting it out on my Twitter account. So you need to show people that this is what you're doing now, this is your progress so far, so that they know that, okay, yes, Ifunanya is doing design, and yeah, I need to hire Ifunanya if I need a designer. So I cannot overemphasize on the this personal branding. So that's kind of like partly my field. In fact, that's entirely my field. So I work on people's LinkedIn profiles and all of that, CV and all of that. So I think you need a very good, you need to brand yourself. You need to make yourself a brand. So I should come on LinkedIn and see that, hey, Chidinma is a product designer, and this is where she has worked so far. This is what she did in those companies. This is, your about, everything. Everything should tell me. Like once I get on your profile, everything on your profile should tell me that you're a product designer. So if recruiters, you need to look like I should hire you. In fact, you need to look like you would hire yourself if you were a recruiter. You need to look like you should hire yourself if you were a recruiter. So your personal branding is very, very important. You need to showcase yourself, package yourself well. That's what we call it, packaging. You need to package, even if you're not, the most, let's say, even if you're not an expert per se yet, you need to package yourself to look like you are one already, because you're getting there. If you believe in yourself, you will get there. So you need to package yourself as though you are one. So yeah, that's for the newbies. And then you have to learn the tools and no AI, please. Yes, please, because even if the company it won't kill to know it. Even if the company doesn't, require you to know, it's like she said, some companies say don't use AI. Yeah, I've seen things like that. Like, I also write content. I do content writing. So sometimes you get a client and they're like, please, I don't want AI. I don't want all of those things, please. So it still pays to know so that you're just safe on either side of the spectrum. So you know it. So if a company comes and they ask, do you know AI? You're like, yes, I know AI. If another company doesn't want to use it, you just keep it on the side and then continue working. So yeah, that's for the newbies. And then the next one is people already in the field, people already working, right? So for people already working, doing their stuff, I think it still boils down to branding. You need to keep going. I need to see what you're doing all the time. I need to come online and I see that this person is working. Oh God, this person is doing a good job. And you need to you need to stay on trend. Like, you need to know what's going on, everything that's going on around your field. You can even know for other fields, just so that you're not caught up anywhere. So you need to keep on, studying, keep on upskilling and all of that. So yeah, that's it for.
Okay, that was so brilliant. And why she emphasized on branding and positioning, I just thought of saying this, that there is this thing, AI SEO strategy, that we all have to pay very close attention to it and take it seriously. For example, if somebody should go on Google Gemini and say developers in Enugu State, who will Google Gemini rank? This works for individuals, this works for brands, this works for companies, this works for businesses. So it is the information you feed in about yourself, your company, what you do out there, that these AI tools, agents, that's the information they're going to scrape and rank you on the platform, on the answers and responses they give to people. And from there, when they list 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 persons, are you going to be among the top 10 persons? So branding and positioning is a very good one, and the information about yourself you put out there is relevant for both newbies and for people who are already in the tech space. So we are wrapping up this conversation, and I would just like to ask Raphael, let me zoom out again. When we look ahead to say 2034, what do you think the future of work will actually look like? Are we heading toward AI domination, human adaptation, or a blend of both?
I would say it's a blend of both, right? Because with what we have at the moment, it's mostly been understanding that AI is an enabler, like you shared. And I think also having that at the back of your mind, seeing it as a collaborator of some sort, right? Basically kind of preempts whatsoever it is that happens in the future. So if there's anything in 2034, it has to be someone that is able to understand that AI is a utility to foster a better work, whatsoever it is you're doing, whether it's content writing, software engineering, whatsoever it is. You just have to understand the nuances to these things and basically utilize it for whatsoever you're doing. So I believe in the future it's going to be a collaboration, a mesh of both of them.
All right, and if I have to resound that, AI is going to be a utility for better work. And if you're writing now, I believe that by now your notepad must be filled, and possibly you have questions you want to ask or concerns you want to throw to any of the panelists here today. So this is now our Q&A. Okay, we already have one person there.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So my question is, what do you do when you are in a situation where you are able to create a workflow or an AI workflow that automates most of your job, but you are afraid that that workflow might make you obsolete or might make them to not need you? So are you going to choose between, what should you choose between the risk of losing your job or in the innovation? Or should you just keep your idea and just do everything the normal way? Thank you.
All right. So yeah, I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday. I think we have to take into cognizance the fact that AI is here, right? And we basically created the monster that is here. Whatever it is you see AI doing is based off what you've written in the past, right? We have open source, so it basically utilizes these things to create what we have. So I don't think there's no way to salvage the situation. I think you can just continue innovating and making yourself better in whatsoever category you find yourself. But if you think there's a way to preempt the AI situation, I don't know. I just think it's a dead end, right? So innovate, try as much as possible to see how you could expedite the entirety that is your career, and just keep at it. So yeah.
My guy, I will tell you to automate it. See, if you don't automate it, and it is something vital for that business, believe you me, they will find someone who can automate it and kick you out. Then hire that person. See, no matter how you automate any system, an engineer or the person who automated it needs to be there to supervise the automation to make sure that it is still working the way it is. When Fast Comet was acquired by WHG in May, one of the first tasks which we had to do was the fraud detection system. We had to automate everything. Funny enough, after we finished doing that, everybody in the company was laid off. And the new company had to now bring in their own team members to run the whole system. But it still does not mean that we won't have gone ahead to automate the whole system because we are going to lay us off. Because it won't stop the new people to still do that. And believe you me, the people who are handling it now, they're also professionals who could have automated it even if we never did. So do not allow the fear of you being replaced by your automation to stop you from making a work that should be easy for your own self, to stop you from making it easy. Okay? So go ahead, automate it. Let those people who asked you or who perhaps have been going the other rigorous processes to operate that, say that you have the efficiency to make that system automatic, and then you did it. If they are people who save value, they will retain you to maintain that. But even if they do not retain you, they will still find someone else who will have to maintain that automation. That's all I have to add.
And yes, so with that, we've actually come. I have 2 hands up. Am I permitted? Okay, it has to be quick, please.
Okay. My question is this to the AI gurus. Don't you think it's risky advising young developers to buy into the AI bubble, even though you give disclaimers? Don't you think that people are most likely going to be lazy and then don't learn, given that they still have to pass lead code problems to get jobs or get into interviews?
For anything that we do, there's always a risk attached to it. So, because we know that people can get carried away with the whole AI bubble, will not stop us from advising them. So, if you advise a beginner, go through that rigorous process of learning the basics of whatever you want to do before you delve into AI, and decide to do the other way around. A time will come when that basics that they should have known will be required and they will not be able to deliver on them. Then someone who has that basic will eventually replace them. So we will still tell them, we'll still tell beginners, and we'll keep telling beginners, anything you want to learn as far as tech is concerned, learn the basics before you start using AI with it.
So just to add to that, I feel like if there was no AI, people will still, like, there will still be something that will make you lazy. Like, as human beings, there will still be something else that will make the person not do that job the way they are supposed to, not go through the whole stress, because nobody likes stress. So if they were going to be like that, whether there is AI or there's no AI, they will still do this. They will still find something that will make them, or they'll not go through the whole process and all of that. So, like he said, they will still tell you, go through this, learn the basics, learn the things you're supposed to do, and then when you've gotten to a point, you can now use some of the best developers I know use AI. They use it very well. So we are still going to advise you, go through the process, go through the whole, learn the basics very well, and then you can, at some points, add AI and use it to, enhance your work and all of that. So you can still do what you want to do.
To add to that, this is for the designers in the house, right? So, as they said, learn the basics, and know it very well. Reason why I'm saying this is that I can just give a beginner a task, design a calendar for me, and don't use AI. And if you find yourself thinking for up to like 2 minutes just to design a calendar for me, you need to go back to your basics and learn it again. What AI is there to do is just to make your work faster, not to do your work for you. So in order for you not to, what this is going to do to you as a designer is like it's going to stand you out, especially in a case. Okay, let's take for instance where I think it happened last month where all the AI tools were all down, right? And I know for some people they struggled because they couldn't use AI at that moment. So you see that at that point, that's where those basics you've learned come into play. So imagine if you've relied on AI, and that point that, let's say it didn't even just crash for a day, it crashed for, like, let's say for months. It means that you wouldn't do anything. So back to what they said, learn the basics, know the basics, and eat the basics. Know it very, very well. Just like the way you know your ABCD and 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I just have quick 3 points. I think the first one is it's even more deceitful to be oblivious to the fact that AI is here, right? If you don't do it, it's going to be a situation of Bitcoin. Well, you know, when Bitcoin was very cheap to buy and everyone was playing blind sides to it. So if you don't actually take into cognizance the fact that AI is here, it's going to be a problem. And also, you need to consider the fact that it is a utilitarian tool, right? So it basically doesn't take you out of the job. Understanding how to create this mesh would take you further. And then the third one is, there's a reason why tech giants are pumping money to this stuff. You have people pumping billions to it, and you think it's done out of auspice. The entire goal is to try as much as possible to reduce the number of persons in the capitalist system. So as much as possible, you just have to take this into consideration and position yourself for success, unless I don't know, it's going to be really bad, really. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for those wonderful answers. And while I would have loved to continue this conversation, we actually have to call it a wrap here. And if you just walked in and wonder what we're talking about the future of work, the gig economy, the 9 to 5 in the age of AI. And thank you so much, my amazing panelists, and it was a wonderful time having you here. Thank you so much.